best friends. I mean, you were like the first people that I was close with at school. I mean, Jake, I was the first person you ever beat in a wrestling match. I love you guys too. As I said, Ethan, you were the first person I ever met in our grade at Whitfield. So, yeah. To the coaches, Fleet and Schweizer, and David Greathouse, Godding, Buddy, Coach, and Ray and Shu. I wanted to thank all of you guys for sticking with it and helping me to get to where I am today. Thanks for being my practice partner, for coaching me in 7th grade for 2 sports, although I never did the baseball again. Thanks to Ray and Schweizer for being my practice partners, and to Schweizer for being my employer for a little while. Thank you, Shu, for making this one of the coolest senior nights with the video. Thank you to Buddy and Coach for taking us to all the camps and helping us along through 6 years of wrestling. And thank you to my parents for signing me up in the summer before 7th grade. I guess I met a lot of people. Thank you for coming to all the meets and the tournaments that you did. Thank you to the Wrestling Information Association, or the WIA. It's kind of like the CIA. We had Mr. Murphy, the head of intelligence, Dr. Willie, head of biomedical warfare, Mr. Gatting, head of communications, and Mr. Niffer, the Miffwick. Don't know what that is, you can talk to my dad. Thank you to everybody for getting me to where I am now. And as Jake said, he wasn't a physical specimen. I was even worse. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Stephen. And now Ethan Sherritts.
This is really weird doing this. I remember pretty much watching a ton of speeches ever since I was a little kid. Bear with me. Throughout the duration of my high school wrestling career, I was always asked what it was like to wrestle for my dad or to be the coach's son. Every time I was asked, I pretty much gave the same cookie cutter answer. I'd say, well, he's coached me my whole life. I'm not too sure what it would be like to wrestle without him in my corner. But truth be told, sometimes it was actually pretty tough. Really tough. I think I took losses a lot harder because I felt like, to a certain extent, I was sharing them with my dad. There were some times in Little League when I would have wanted someone, pretty much anyone else, to be coaching me at the time. I remember practices, particularly some this year, when Will was whipping on me pretty good, where I would have liked nothing more than to just walk out and escape from it all. But looking back on it, though, in Little League and early on, I think the reason that I didn't want him in my corner was because it was almost easier when he wasn't there. I felt like I didn't necessarily have to live up to anybody else's expectations but my own, which were at the time very, very low. I honestly think that's a problem in itself, though. It's about to fall off. It wasn't until about the summer of my sophomore year that I came to realize I wasn't wrestling for myself, so to speak. I was wrestling because of the legacy, or the Sherritt's legacy, I I was reluctantly participating in the sport. For me, not buying in early was pretty much the biggest mistake I could have made. At the time, I neglected hard work. I hated going to practice, and I didn't see practice as an opportunity to have success, not only in matches, but later on in life. In layman's terms, I was a very, very soft kid in a very mean, tough sport. Where I'm going with this all is that I didn't throw in the towel, obviously. It took some time, as it usually does for most people, but I bought into what my dad was selling. Eventually, as he likes to say, when the going got tough, I started to get going. I started to wrestle on just about everything I possibly could over the summer. As a result, I went from being 10-12 as a sophomore to having a 40-win season as a junior. I think I was 40-14 as a junior. But even after this year's state tournament, looking back on my early wrestling career, I walked up to Buddy and I asked him specifically if he thought that after my sophomore season I would ever have a prayer of winning the state tournament. His response was, "Well, Ethan, I thought you would medal." As I think everyone should, though I used all that negativity around me to fuel my success. I remember going to the state tournament as a junior. I was ranked 10th in the state. I ended up taking 4th. To put this in perspective, the kid from Principia was ranked ahead of me at 9th. Even this year as a senior, though, I was never ranked above 2nd. You guys shouldn't pay attention to, all you younger guys shouldn't pay attention to all that junk that goes on in MissouriWrestling.com. One time, because my dad can't really text for himself, a lot of times we decipher his text and type him out. He's not very technically sound. One time I heard my dad say that proving your critics wrong is one of the most satisfying things you can do in life. And I can honestly speak from experience when I say that it really, truly is. I carried this mentality with me to every match I wrestled. Over the last 2 years, I can honestly say I think I came a long way in a pretty short period of time. Then this season, my last go-around, I was determined to end my career on the highest note possible. I needed is probably actually a better term, to be a state champion on a state championship team. In the semifinals of the Route 141 Rumble, I tore my LCL against a big, strong 182-pounder from Hazelwood East. The MRI showed a level 3 or complete tear. One thing that is so great about our program is its ability to teach us as wrestlers how to deal with adversity. For me, this was a major fork in the road. Still, though, I was determined not to get off track. I kept my eye on the prize because I knew how hard I had worked to be in the situation that I was in. In my mind, although not in the mind of many, many others, I was the best 182-pounder in the state of Missouri, Class 1. I was pretty much on a quest to prove that. This mindset originated from all the work that I put in over the summer. In fact, I think it's fair to say that most, if not all of my success that I had during my junior and senior seasons came as a result of hard, dedicated off-season work. If you work hard enough, you can gain an entire season on your competition in one summer. An entire 4 months, 16 weeks of practice. You can gain that all in one summer. Everybody with eligibility left, you should take advantage of every opportunity that you possibly can. Every summer tournament, every TSL practice, every camp that you don't want to go to will all be worth it once you achieve your goals. Ask almost anybody from our graduating J. Robinson class, and they will all tell you that it was worth it. The day before I left for camp last year, I got a text from my Uncle Sam. He said about the camp, he said, "I wish I could tell you it won't be that bad, but it will." Truth be told, it was probably the most demanding physical experience of my life so far, probably ever. But at the time, that summed it up pretty good for me, that text. When you graduate from the camp, though, you will leave with a lifetime's worth of knowledge, not only about wrestling, but about yourself. The purpose of the camp is to make you do things that you think you cannot do, overcoming mental obstacles. Like I said earlier, I spent years sitting before seniors at this very banquet, listening to them give their speeches. I've heard some really, really good ones, and more recently in the last couple of years, some ones that were okay. One thing that was common in all of them was that your high school wrestling career flies by. 4 years, it really, truly is a blink of time. Not once did I ever believe what they were saying until now. The truth is, it really does fly by. I'm realizing it now more than ever. I'd like to wrap up by thanking my mom and sisters for supporting me no matter what, even when I necessarily didn't want them to. Mr. Murphy for helping calm my nerves every match by giving me the inside scoop on my next opponent, or not telling me anything at all. Dr. Woodley for keeping us healthy and ready to go. Mr. Nipper for working restlessly for this program. All the coaches, particularly Buddy, Polite, and Shu, for taking one for the team by drilling with me in my brace. Most importantly, I'd like to take a second to thank my dad. I've never really taken the time to tell him this before, but he is the single biggest inspiration I have in my life. Thank you for everything you've ever done for me. There's nobody else I would have rather had in my corner. To the team, good luck next year, guys. If you walk into that room where the med balls are, you'll see a sign on the wall that says, "The harder you train, the luckier you get." There couldn't really be a truer saying, guys. Thanks.
Thank you, Ethan. Austin Smith.
Seven years, 344 practices, 50 pounds lost, 30 lunches, 16 months of no Taco Bell. That's a lot. 14 early morning practices with coach, 12 Sheratos, 4 summers of wrestling camps, and 1 J-Rock for this. But this was worth every second. Truly bewildered by how fast time really flies by. At one moment, I'm sitting where you freshmen and sophomores are right now, waiting for the moral and the end of each long speech. And now, I'm giving my final address to you guys. When we moved to St. Louis, I had heard so much about my dad's wrestling that I thought I would maybe follow in his footsteps. But frankly, I had only heard about the glorifying part. I didn't hear about the weight cutting, the extreme practices, and the tiring week-long camps. The first wrestling camp I ever went to was run by a man named Strauss, and he gave me my first glimpse of my future wrestling career. I walked into the camp not knowing what to expect. He calls us to the mat, and like a drill sergeant, commands us to get down in the referee's position. Not knowing anything about the sport, I stand there in what I thought was a wrestling stance, and even that was no good. All of a sudden, I see him march directly towards me, and at this point I'm thinking I did something wrong. He grabs me by the hair, drags me in a little circle, and forces me into the down position. And so I didn't forget it, gave me a little love tap on the side of the heads. I didn't really know what to take away from that situation. I'd never been manhandled before. That's what I thought my wrestling career was going to be like. It was going to be hard and unkind. I quit the camp within a day. Then a few weeks ago, I was in the finals of the state tournament. I was pumped and ready. all my 7 years had led to this moment. Just before they let us out, my mentor, Coach Sherritts, comes up to me, says nothing, shakes my hand, and then smacks the crap out of the side of my head. A love tap, if you will. My career started with a head smack, but the meaning of it had changed. Then I took it as meanness, as if I didn't belong in the sport. Now I understand that it is a sign of proudness and affection. My whole perspective of the sport has changed so much since the beginning. It has gone from hardship and sacrifice being a bad thing to being a good and necessary thing. The moral of my story is that the road is hard and full of obstacles. You have to keep moving forward and persevere in order to obtain victory. There is no greater glory than overcoming the toughest challenges and reaping the benefits. And so I leave you future wrestlers with these words. This sport is going to hurt. You will be pushed to your very limit. You will meet your ugly green monster. And you will want to quit. Just know that every hardship you face is just another step towards greatness, and every love tap you get from Coach, Elite, Buddy, Ray, Schweizer, or Schumacher is a reminder that you are following the path of champions. Seniors and wrestlers, you have truly made this experience a great one. Through the J-Robs and Sheratos and the Weekend Warriors, even though we complained and hurt, it was fun to become a band of brothers with you. I would gladly do it all again with you guys by my side. Popo and Buddy, a band of brothers all themselves. Popo, thank you for all the work you've devoted to me and sticking by me even on those late nights, running around that damn hotel and stay trying to lose the weight. Buddy, I know you want to keep your hard-ass persona intact, but I want to thank you for your compassion.
Wow.
I want to thank you for all of your compassion and the learning opportunities that you have me kicking my butt in practice. Schweizer and Ray, thank you for all the time you've spent on me and pushing me in practice. Schumacher, I'm so glad you became a part of the team. You have made the senior night and the videos for our team so much more. Whitfield moms and dads, I could not ask for a better team of devoted people that could do so much for the betterment of the team. Mom, thank you for all the care that you have given me throughout my career. I love you so much, and I appreciate everything that you've done for me and the team. Same to you, Lexi. Dad, you have developed a reputation for being a little tense and uptight. You really pushed me to my limits sometimes, but I know everything you said and did was for my benefit, and I thank you for it. Coach, what can I say? Well, a lot actually. Ever since the beginning, you have taken me under your wing and have taught me so much, even though you were angry at me for wrestling on the MICDS team. You were always willing to work with me, and you believed in me when I did not. I am forever grateful for everything you've done for me. Thank you for the love taps. Thank you everyone for your commitment, dedication, and passion for the team through my high school wrestling career. Thank you.
It's a great job by our seniors, and speaking of great job, let's have a round of applause for the Scobies for their work in doing all this stuff. We've got the video now. It's about 10 or 15 minutes long, and I think you guys over here are going to have to kind of circle around this way to be able to see the screen.
Can you see what she's going?